Good morning. Welcome to the stream. Today, yeah, I know it was very, very impromptu. I didn't put anything up. I am currently in the middle of watching 6 little girls. So this is going to be a very, very, very short stream, but there was a few things that came up and I wanted to talk to you guys all about it today. We're going to cover third-party reporting, the newest ISC. What's up, JT? And I got a special guest interview, and we're going to start with that special guest interview now. I don't have any gameplay footage. I don't have any B-roll. This was super, super impromptu, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. I really wanted to talk to you guys this morning. So there might even be 3 streams today, one this afternoon as well. So that one I will schedule, and I will put that up. But this one was very, very impromptu, and I wanted to, like I said, I just wanted to share with you guys what I found this morning and bring you guys this special guest interview as well. So, without further ado, I'd like to present you my special guest interview. Go ahead, tell everybody what your name is and say hi.
Hello, my name's Jaina. Can anybody hear me?
Everybody can hear you. This is my daughter, Jaina. She's 9 years old, and she is an aspiring gaming girl. So
yeah, I like to game, and I like fashion too.
We're going to talk just for a few minutes about gaming and what gaming means to a 9-year-old. This is not going to be very long, but let's talk about what gaming is for a 9-year-old. So we'll start off with, okay. Do you like video games, Jaina?
Yes, I do. I play them all the time.
Stand up. Don't talk like that and talk into the mic.
Yes, I do. I play them all the time. Sometimes with my friends.
Okay. What video game is your favorite video game right now?
I don't know. I have so many video games that I like. I don't know which one.
Okay, so which one do you like to? Which one when you're like at school or you're eating dinner? What video game are you like? I can't wait to play that.
Minecraft, Lego World, or Lego Marvel Superheroes.
Those are
Depends.
some pretty good choices. I don't know if you heard her. Minecraft, Lego World, and Lego Marvel Superheroes. Which I know you play Minecraft a lot. So what's your favorite thing about Minecraft?
Well, I like Minecraft because I like to go on creative, but I still like to build and stuff, and we're always like playing life games or fantasy games, like pretending, making up our own story. It's like so good, almost like a movie.
Okay. Okay.
That's what we like.
Have you seen your dad play Star Citizen?
Yes. Durr.
Get into the microphone.
Durr, yes.
So what kind of what do you think about Star Citizen?
I don't know. I actually think I pretty get used to the flying. I'm probably getting used right now to the weird TV thingy.
Oh, my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, I have a pretty deep curve to my screen.
Yeah, he threw up the first night he got it.
Thanks for sharing with everybody. I appreciate that. So, what do you? We're gonna make this quick. So, Jaina, what do you want to see in gaming in the future? Like, what kind of games would you like to see in the future? I know you have very limited quantity or very limited exposure to video games, but what do you want to see in video games in the future?
I want to see some more of the like space type of thing, and like in Lego Marvel Superheroes, I'm really upset that you can't go in certain buildings. So like I want to see more of that. I mean, people can do way better. Like maybe entire Disney World, like you can play as a Disney character doing all those jobs, walking down the street and stuff. But like, hello, I'm Mickey Mouse, or hello, I'm Minnie Mouse.
So you want to see more role playing and more open world stuff, but you can actually go inside of the buildings instead of just be outside of the buildings?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I just don't like it.
You don't like that?
And get more food in the game, like good food, like hamburgers, hot dogs, all those stuff, like ice cream too, maybe.
Okay. So what I understand is you want to see more open world games, more space games, and the ability to go inside of buildings in those games.
Yes.
You know that you bring up a good point, because there's many video games that even I play that you can't even go inside the buildings, or you can only go inside certain buildings. So that's a pretty good point. That's a pretty good point.
And I like seeing more rocket ships where you go on there and go up in the rocket ship, or flying your own like spaceship like Daddy does.
Guys, she's describing Star Citizen. We might have another addict coming. And it means you want to play all the time.
Oh.
Maybe we'll get a new Star Citizen addict, huh? I'll have to buy a whole nother PC. Okay. What is before you go? Everybody has to know, and you can't say creative one. Okay. Before you go, who is your favorite Marvel superhero?
Why are you looking at me like that?
Because I'm interviewing you.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Who's your which character do you like to play most on Marvel's superheroes?
I think I like to play
I know it's a tough one.
I can't do it. I don't know.
I know you like to. Go ahead.
Maybe like. I don't know. I don't play her much. She-Hulk, maybe?
You like She-Hulk?
Or like maybe Black Widow.
Or Black Widow?
Spider-Woman, because she can fly.
Or Spider-Woman? Oh yeah, because she can fly in that game.
Like,
all right. Before you go, I want you to say,
Mm-hmm.
Say, welcome to the Tuniverse.
All right.
Tuniverse. Say, welcome to the Tuniverse.
Welcome to the Tuniverse.
All right, that was my daughter Jaina. Go ahead. Okay. That was my daughter Jaina. She's a fantastic little girl. She gets into she's too smart for her own good and gets into some trouble every now and again. But she's a good girl. She's a good girl. She-Hulk Yuma rage. She-Hulk Yuma rage. So now we're gonna get into what I would call the actual reaction stuff. I found this morning after I woke up and was drinking my coffee, scrolling through the YouTube feed. And I wanted to share this with you guys because I think it's important in the Star Citizen community. You know what? First, we're going to start with the developer stuff. We'll do the developer stuff, and then we'll do the third party thing. So this I'm pretty excited for. I saw this a little bit yesterday and was like, I was a little optimistic, and then it got to the halfway point of the video, and I was like, oh my goodness, I can't wait for this. So I'm going to get ready to start this up here. You'll just have to let me know if the sound is good. Oops, I'm going to the wrong thing. There we go. Just let me know if the sound is good. Oh, of course it went back to that. I'm excited for this, and it sounds, from what I understand, that they're already starting to use parts of this. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play, and we'll react to it as we go.
Hey, before we get on to the normal business of Inside Star Citizen this week, we wanted to take a moment and recognize and acknowledge what's currently happening with the live gameplay experience. Obviously, anyone that's been following the project for any period of time knows that running a live gameplay environment throughout the process of development is an unusual, sometimes trying, but often rewarding experience. But it's not just the tremendous work of our developers that make this possible. It's also the continuing commitment of you, our players, that allow us to test things at scale. Because it's often easy to forget that with the hype and excitement of a new release, that every level of Star Citizen is a development and testing platform, even the live alpha. Now, even knowing that the launch of Alpha 3.18 was going to be rougher than normal, I think it's fair and safe to say that we were all hoping for a somewhat smoother experience than the one that you have been finding the last week. Now, while I'm going to continue pointing you to the amazing efforts of our platform team, the player experience team, and especially the community team in updating you on the continuing progress through the website and socials, because quite frankly, they're far more plugged into those things than I am and will have much better information than I ever will. We did feel it was important to acknowledge the current state of things at the top of this show, whose story was set weeks and months before. I said it on SCO, and I'll say it again here. We don't just share in the victories with each and every one of you. We're often right there with you with the same thoughts and the same feelings about our disappointments. We're sorry for the rough launch, but I hope you can see the determination and the dedication of those people working to improve things in the improvements that are being made each and every day this week, and will continue until we get things where we want them to be. So with that said, let's get started with this week's show.
I didn't want to interrupt him. Although it's not an apology, it's an acknowledgement to what's going on. And it was a well thought out acknowledgement and response to what's going on, and I appreciate that. There's a lot of gaming companies that, when things like this happen, you just get a post. You just get a post in a forum somewhere. Hey Vish, how you doing? Thanks for joining. Like I said, this is a little short of an apology. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Today, oops, I'm hitting my mic. Today and tomorrow is my day off. Sorry. I know how that goes, man. I know how that goes. So I know that this is stopping just short of an apology, but it's an acknowledgement as to what is going on, and it seems sincere. Um, I've done a little bit of digging through both Grumpy Eye and what I can find online, and it seems like, from what I can find, Jared was a fan of Star Citizen and an early backer, and then got hired on and works in the marketing department now. Um, so, as much as I give Jared crap for some of the stuff that he says on camera and how awkward he gets on camera, um, I think he wants this game to succeed, not just for his pocketbook, but because he is also a fan. So, like I said, this seemed pretty heartfelt from Jared. I'm sure it's the reflection of a large majority of people that work at CIG. I can't speak to all of that for a fact, but maybe this is a step in the right direction for 318, and it sounds like they're working hard behind the scenes. And we're going to get on with the rest of the ISC. I think you guys are really going to like this. I know it gets a little technical, but I think this is really cool stuff that they're talking about here.
Since the launch of the Persistent Universe in December 2015, mission gameplay has been at the center of the Star Citizen experience. Whether that's doing someone a favor and investigating a few ICC probes, delivering an important package from one planet to the next, or infiltrating a gang of would-be ne'er-do-wells in efforts to keep Stanton safe, missions often push players forward into areas they might not otherwise have discovered and pull them deep into the scandalous underbelly of the star system. And over the years, through the work of the mission feature team, missions have continued to evolve into a modular system that allows for designers anywhere in any studio to create missions not in the weeks and months of 2015, but in the mere days of 2023. So on this week's Inside Star Citizen, let's learn a bit more about how that modular system works, the technical complexities that make it possible, and take a peek at some of the new modules currently in development for Alpha 319 and beyond.
Very true, Vish. Very true, Vish. I will say, when I saw this title, when it first popped up in my feed the other day, I think it was yesterday, I was like, what? They're actually going to add ship modules? And then when he explained it was mission modules, I was kind of pissed until I really listened to what they had to say, and now I'm kind of excited.
Go ahead, you can do it.
I can do it.
Missions matter. No, missions modules. Elliot Maltby.
Mission modules. You're at scene 5.
Mission modules. Lars, scene 5. Always wanted to do that.
Now, Elliot, he's the younger guy
very
with
beginning,
dark hair.
The early days. Everyone was
He's
just
really
coming
cool.
up with missions, right?
Very
What we
passionate,
used to have to do
and he gets
is,
involved in the streaming community.
have a bespoke mission for every mission we had.
Someone might have built it to act
Elliot.
this way, and then another person might have built it to act this way, but in a completely different way.
So one person would start like a delivery mission, would have to write it from beginning to end, and then some other person would have write a bounty mission from beginning to end, and then another delivery mission, again, from beginning to end. And the problem with that situation was that everyone wrote their scripts differently.
Each mission, while might have similarities, every bit of logic was different in some way.
We are a game that constantly evolves, that constantly gets updated, so things break sometimes.
We used to get bugs back, which was like, oh, you know, that when we enter the action area for this mission, this happens, but it wouldn't happen on the other one, even though they're functionally
Kovalek's
doing
Death
the
Machine.
same thing.
Everything was built in a different way, and so everything also needed to be fixed individually.
It was a lot of reworking and redoing and over again, and eventually that could not be scaled up anymore.
So I'm going to say this. This seems like a very big mismanagement. You have all of these mission designers creating missions every single time from scratch, beginning to end, and each one is different. Now, I love this game, but that's a problem. That's a big problem. That I can guarantee you that's where a good portion of our bugs come from that are involved in these missions. You know, guys not spawning in, as you saw the Kovalek's Death Machine doing its spin and rolls. You know, this is this kind of speaks to upper management, not the see, I don't throw this at the devs because this is not the devs' problem. This is not the devs' fault. This is mismanagement from the company and mismanagement from upper management. You have guys creating entire missions from scratch every single time you want to add missions. That's ridiculous and time consuming. And this is probably, as I said, where a lot of our broken stuff comes from. You know, guys not loading in, the missions failing as soon as you start them. Delivery boxes spawning underneath the planet or in the planet. I guarantee you that's where a lot of this comes from. So let's see what they have to say.
Anymore in a game like Star Citizen, where we really want to populate the entire universe with missions, we can't really do that. We have to come up with a different solution.
We don't need all these people working on all these things all over the place if we can have more of a unified approach towards it.
That's where mission modules come in.
Hopefully this also makes missions roll out faster.
To fix all of those issues is a more modular system. This is where we identify key functionality between missions and plug them all together and make it all operate under one module. This means that when we get a bug, it is likely that every other mission will experience this bug and we can fix it. So we have modules and submodules and submodules, and there is no end to that. You can keep putting them inside of each other. But on the high level, we have what are called wrapper modules. So some of the different wrapper modules are like delivery missions.
Your typical delivery mission is pick up a box and then deliver the box in another location, which has
Point
certain
A to
variations.
point B.
So we have ones that are called multi-stop, which are essentially here's 5 boxes,
Point
here's
A,
the
B,
pickup
C, D,
locations,
E,
and here's all the drop-off locations.
F.
The player can decide in what order they want. There are the linear wrapper module, which is we give you one box and you have to deliver that before we then give you the next box.
Infiltrate and Defend has like various subtypes and different variations that we can use depending on what the mission wants to achieve.
You've got eliminate all missions, or you've got eliminate specific missions, or even an eliminate boss mission where players must neutralize the grunts first, and then afterwards, a boss shows up, and that's the eliminate target.
And those are all the submodules of the Infiltrate and Defend type, and we're still making more. Then there's the bounty hunting modules.
Our bounty missions are quite well known. The most basic version is you accept a contract, it tells you where the bounty is, you travel there and you take it out, which then can be modified in like several variations.
It consists of the synced assassinations. It's the group bounties where you have 3 different bounties at different locations you have to get to and kill. It's the Idris event where you have to go and kill an Idris with potentially multiple people you don't know. And when the ability to capture people comes online, we'll add even more modules to help support this.
I can't wait for capture people. That is going to be so much fun and so hard. I can't wait. And then an Idris bounty hunt with multiple people that may or may not even be in your group. That sounds fun. That's like world bosses and MMOs and other RPG games that are online. Like that would be so much fun. That would be so much fun. I just hope that these modules that they're talking about not only eliminate some of the bugs that we currently get in Star Citizen, but also allow them to rapidly create new missions. So that way we see newer and better missions come out, and we see this universe come alive with more and more things to do other than the same old, as you know, most of us do the same things. You know, we find what we like to do and we continue to do it. So for me, it's bounty hunting, beacons, and bunkers. For other people, it's what up, Mason? How you doing? For other people, it's bunkers, or excuse me, delivery missions, and I know the salvage missions are coming online very shortly, but they're very, even the event ones are kind of bland. It's go here, fight, go here, pick up bot. Like let's take Xeno Threat. Go here, fight, achieve the time limit without dying and without the friendly ship dying. Go inside ship, pick up item, deliver to next ship. Timer starts again. Fight, rinse and repeat all the way through. They get kind of bland. The bunker missions, they're the same thing over time, all the time. assist in defending the site. Okay, so you go there, you can eliminate 10 guys, and you do that all the way until what, rep 2, and then it's assist in defending the site, and you get a little bit higher payout, but you're still fighting the same 10 guys. Then you get to rep 3, and it's okay, you get your first wave of 6, your second wave of 6, your third wave of 6, all the way up until rep 5. Then at rep 5, you get 8, 8, and 8, and it's the same thing every time. I hope we get more flavor. Like these eliminate the guys. You know, some of the bounty hunt missions, especially in caves, I like doing those because it's different than doing the bunker missions. But you do enough cave missions, they're all the same. So you do enough bounty hunting missions, fly here, shoot down this ship, fly here, shoot down that ship. It does get a little bland. So I'm hoping variables come into that soon.
So what we're working on now is resource collection missions. That includes salvage and mining missions.
We're even going to
Those
be
would be
adding
cool.
classic things like someone wants 40 pieces of wheat and you have to go and find that and bring that back to them. All of these things we're looking into, investigating, hopefully you'll see soon. No, Reddit, that's just an example. We're not actually going to collect wheat.
Beefcake.
So let's dive deeper into submodules, and let's use one that looks relatively simple, the delivery module. The delivery module uses a wrapper called the multi-stop delivery. So when that fires, that starts something called the initialized delivery loop. The initialized delivery loop reads parameters that designers give us, say how many boxes they want.
Here's the problem with the AI intelligence. The AI intelligence is directly affected by server performance. The better the server, the far more deadly AI gets. Now, I'm not defending CIG here. I'm just saying that is how it works. The AI intelligence is directly influenced by server tick rate, server FPS, server bandwidth, all the things, all the variables that go into the health of the server. The more healthy the server, the more snappy the AI is, and they will actually... I have been in a 6-man server before, just after a 30K, got into a fresh 6 people. 6 people out of 100 were in the server. Me and another player went in, his name's Starlord. We went in there, and... What up, Canop? I didn't see you over there on Twitch. What's up, man? How you doing? Me and another player went into this bunker, and we were expecting the same old derpy AI, and these guys, it was like fighting the Terminator and Rambo combined. Like, you'd stick your head out around a box and they'd blast you in the face. My leg was showing behind a box at one point, and they took my leg out. I mean, after a 35-minute fight, which is long in a bunker, me and my buddy Starlord came out with like tier 3 head injuries, tier 3 chest injury, tier 3 leg injury, tier 3 arm injury, barely holding it together. Get up! Barely holding it together. So, the one... Look, I would love for the AI to be much improved. They've overcranked them to deal with server health. I'm punching my mic again. But it doesn't do anything when the servers are constantly in an unhealthy state. And, it is what it is right now. Maybe when we get server meshing, you can't see me air quoting, but maybe when we get server meshing, the AI will react a bit better. But they'll also have to adjust the fact that most places you go to, they can shoot through the walls, they can shoot through the boxes. They'll randomly spawn behind you. So, we'll see. Let's let him finish, because I agree with you on the AI. I really do. I really do agree with you on the AI. You sometimes get derp or you get freaking Rambo sniper elite level AI, and it's sometimes kind of confusing.
To be delivered. For this example, let's say 3. So those 3 boxes would start 3 individual round deliveries. Now, a round delivery will care and track the progress of a singular box and its journey from point A to point B. So then after that round delivery has booted up and it has all the information, that then goes, right, now I need to start the first part of it, which is the pickup part. So it starts the pick up or drop off module, which then will check what has the designer specified to me. Does the designer care where this is spawned? Do they want it at a locker? Do they want it at an item port? If they don't, it will choose randomly. So let's say they go, okay, I want it to be picked up from a item port, which is essentially what you
variable
know as a shelf.
modules.
The item is spawned on a shelf and it sits there waiting. When the player interacts with the item and picks it up, it sends a callback back to the pickup or drop off and say, this item has been retrieved. The pickup or drop off goes, my job's complete, let me tell the round delivery. The round delivery then goes, okay, thank you for that information. I can now start the drop off process because the box that I had been told to pick up has been picked up. It will then say, I'm going to boot the pickup or drop off again, but this time it will specify the drop off process. Once again, taking into account anything that the designer specified if they want it dropped off in a locker or at a shelving unit again. Say this time it's a locker, then what happens is it will boot up a completely different module of the delivery locker. Then that will send the request to the delivery locker and say, hey, delivery locker, you're going to expect X item from X person. The delivery locker then waits. When you put it in the delivery locker, the delivery locker will verify that the item is the one that was actually asked for you to be delivered, and then it will once again send an event back up to the pickup or drop off going, hey, I've got the right item. That'll go, cool, thank you. Send that to the round delivery. The round delivery will go, well, that's my box gone. I've finished. I'm going to send this up to the initialized delivery loop. The initialized delivery loop goes, that's 1 out of 3 now delivered. It will then repeat this process for the other 2 boxes that can be done in any order. Then when that completes all over together, the initialized delivery loop will go, cool, all of my things have been finished. I'm going to send it up to the multi-stop. The multi-stop will then go, that's my mission over. Complete, you get your money, and it's as simple as that. The reason we set this up like this is because it allows us to quickly plug pieces in. For example, the prison mission had to expand on the delivery system
10-4
to allow you
Appreciate
to
you being
pick
here.
up from a corpse and drop off to a satellite as a sort of upload
What?
function. What this means is we didn't have to create another delivery module to do that specific process. We created 2 ending modules of pick up corpse and upload data. Those live at the end, so after the pickup or drop off has run its course, it would just pick those 2, which means we don't have to add specific functionality to the entire module all over. It only has to be at the end.
Okay, so what Elliot has presented here is an overly simplified version of the modular system. Sorry, moving the mouse. Modular system for delivery missions presented in a single, uninterrupted, unrehearsed take. He clearly left a bunch of stuff out, so the system should not be considered as simplistic as presented here. Okay. This sounds awesome. You have a bunch of modules that have variables already written into them. And then you can add more variable. As I say, you as the dev, you can then change the variables or have the system randomize the variables. I think that's really cool. I think that's really, really cool. I hope missions start to become far more variable in what they have you do. And what he said there with the corpse running, because you need to investigate the corpse, you have to get it from prison, bring it to another place. That would be really cool. Make it less about just take box from point A to point B, or box 1, 2, and 3 to, you go to point A being the pickup spot, and then you pick up the 3 boxes and you go to point B, C, D and get paid. I think this would be awesome if this actually is variable. I have some insider
So I guess you really want to hear about
info
some
as
of the
well
new stuff.
in a minute.
So let's talk about salvage modules. The salvage module is currently a singular module, and what
This
we have
looks
done is
cool.
allowed for a bunch of functionality.
The most simple version is you get a contract in your Moby Glass given by a company
Ship
that has
salvage rights.
salvage rights. You accept mission in a Moby Glass, and then it's going to give you a piece of salvage, and it says, well, we have a piece of salvage for you, and it's located at this Lagrange point.
The player is shown a location where a shipwreck can be found. So
Before you showed up, Canop, they actually said that they are working on player capture for the bounties, and player and NPC capture for bounties. And that, I was saying how much fun that's going to be. I really can't wait for that.
So they make their way there, and it could be that another NPC is there salvaging already. Or you could have an illegal variant of the mission where you have to go there and salvage everything quickly before another player that has the contract legally shows up.
But there's going to be a timer on screen of whenever the legal owner of that salvage is going to appear, which can end up in enemies arriving because he calls them in. We've made several sub-modules that allow to work with it. So the first one is spawn ship waves. So it's going to be a wave-based module that allows the designer to define what the waves are like exactly, and then they show up. And another module that we've been making that we're actually quite proud of is a chicken ship module. And that's a ship that shows up and then is either going to attack you or try to run away. And if you scare it off by either damaging it or taking too long, it's going to try and jump away. And if it does so, then it allows the designer to define what's going to happen then. So the most basic version would be he's going to call in his friends. They come in, and then all of a sudden it's not you and a vulture against another vulture. It's going to be you against a retaliator bomber and 4 arrows, and you're in trouble. Now, the other option is like, okay, if you destroy it, then what happens? So we have the option of like a Carrick arrives because the company is like, well, we haven't heard from Bob in an hour. We're going to send like someone else to do the salvage, but maybe something happened to him. We're going to send something bigger. Or you basically warded off the defenders and you're now safe to salvage at your own leisure.
This kind of modular approach will allow other designers to come up with whatever they want.
We're going to get Jumptown in space with salvage. That's going to be so much fun. I don't even have a vulture or a reclaimer. If somebody was like, hey, I need an escort for salvage, and I knew stuff like this was going to be happening, oh my goodness, I would have so much fun. Just so long as they split some of the profits with me. Oh man, Jumptown in space over salvage, as Voidyvids would call it, salvage wars. Oh man, that would be so much fun.
When it comes to building missions, there could be a number of possibilities. It is only limited by their imagination. All of these sort of modifiers and options are there to sort of allow us to create different types of gameplay or different experiences with very little changing of the logic. It's a lot of just changing different properties on what's called a mission record.
Another mission module that we're working on that hasn't been revealed yet is package extraction. So it's a mission where the Ninetales have
Package extraction? Sounds like a really bad porn movie.
taken over another Crusader platform, and they have gotten their hands on some highly valuable Crusader prototype ship components. So Crusader really wants them back before they fall into the wrong hands. And as a result, they put out a contract, and many players all around Crusader are tasked with going to that platform and handing it to the Ninetales, essentially getting back the prototype ship components before they can be flown off-world.
One thing we've been playing with is that we hooked it up to the bounty modules that already exist. So we would fire a bounty module where the player goes to a location, they kill a ship, and then we kick off a salvage module, all in one mission. So the player goes there, kills the ship, and then instantly their objectives are like, and now harvest it. And then that's the completion of the mission. So at the moment, mining missions are on pause while we wait for resources from other teams, but in the meantime, we will continue to develop salvage missions, mining missions, and the overall scope of resource collection missions. So, you know, you could hopefully see your wildest
This Crusader
imagination
thing
of resource collecting missions come true. A reasonable expectation of resource collection missions in the future.
I have some insider info,
So the
and
biggest
this Crusader thing sounds awesome. Like getting ship parts and then getting a mission to retrieve ship parts. Not only are you fighting against Ninetales, you're in a race against other players that are are going to be showing up. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
virtue of this is it allows other designers like Guillaume from Montreal or Sam from the EU locations team to go in and be able to piece together their own custom mission.
We just send them, once a mission module is finished, all the questions that they need to fill in for this.
Their designer can go to Date Fudge, select a mission, modify a few properties that will change the behavior of the mission, whether it's the type of box they're delivering or what enemy they want you to kill. All of these modules are intended to be stitched together in easy ways to be able to create completely new bits of content so that the content expansion can be huge.
And this is really important for when you try to build a game of the scale of Star Citizen.
They could build a mission where you go to a location to do an eliminate all, and as you're arriving there, there's a bounty target in the sky you have to take out first. as you go in and manage to kill them all. They use the item dispenser we use in Jumptown and Korea to spawn an item that when the player picks it up, it then starts a delivery mission.
That's the real win of thinking modularly. So that was a little look behind the scenes of what we do in the mission feature team.
I can't wait.
The mission feature team consists of more than just the people you see here. We have a much bigger team that are building these behind the scenes to be able to bring you this new content, these new functionalities, and also help our designers internally to be able to also deliver the same thing.
This is only a fraction of things we have worked on and are working on. Obviously, as more systems come online, we are going to start making more and more modules. Salvage and mining were the most recent ones, and we've worked on those.
Salvage and mining wars.
Crafting is coming
soon. It's going to be so much
we're gonna
fun.
Probably make some modules with that.
And we're going to continue to make more and more mission modules and more things for you to play and enjoy.
Yes.
Thank you very much for letting us tell you what we do. We're hopefully making everything you like.
That sucks, Canop.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got some insider info.
Thanks very
that
much
I want to get to
and
about
see you in
this.
the next episode of Inside Star Citizen.
They won't see. I'm not in the next episode.
I'm not in the next episode.
You just said you are. So, what did we learn this week?
What did we learn this week?
Modularity is what allows for the work of one mission to be carried over and utilized in a variety of others. That it allows for the relatively quick construction and iteration of missions by designers from all over the globe. That it is ultimately what is allowing us to currently add gameplay quickly and efficiently to new locations like the underground facilities, building interiors, and even the upcoming pyro system. And that new modules are being created along the way, like the salvage and mining parts of resource collection, as well as the investigation.
All right, I'm stopping it there. So I am super excited for this. Like, I think it's going to be really cool that they can modularize missions, add in variables, and then and create completely new ones without having to spend days, weeks, or maybe even months creating a mission from beginning to end, completely from scratch, and then having to hand it off to somebody else to plug into the system, plug into the game. So I really am excited for this. This will be really, really cool. Also, I'm digging Jared's hoodie. I kind of want that. I'm not going to pay the $80 or whatever it is on their website, but I really want that hoodie. Now, as far as inside information, I watched about half of this via Grumpy Eye yesterday. Now, Grumpy Eye obviously has a much, much bigger following than I do, and a much, much bigger following on Twitch. Elliot, the young man with the shaggy brown hair that did most of the talking, was actually in Grumpy Eye's chat yesterday. You know how they keep saying coming soon and this is not representative of what they're doing? Well, that's both true and not true. And the reason why I say true but not true is because some of the stuff that they talked about, they're not yet designing, like the mining module or the mining module based missions. But Elliot did confirm that they are already using the mission modules. So yeah, they're already using the mission modules, and they're going to be adding completely brand new missions to the game. He didn't give us a time frame. He didn't tell us soon or anything like that. He just said that they will be adding newer missions in the future, and it sounds like that future is going to be coming up on us very quickly. It's been my opinion. Since the 318 launch, which, yes, we all know it's a dumpster fire. We all know it's been really bad for a lot of different people, whether they can't log in, they can't get their ship, they get stuck, they're in player unstowed, all those variables that go into what's made the 318 launch so bad. But it's been my belief, and it's been kind of confirmed by developers that have gone on, Grumpy Eye, Salty Mike, and a few other streamers that I watch, that once they get 318 working the way it's supposed to, patches and updates to the current patches are going to be able to be made much faster and be much more improved than the launch that we have now. That's not saying that I don't believe that the Pyro launch and the Serper meshing launch, which was two different things now, is still, I still think it's going to be, pardon me, a shithole. It's going to be another dumpster fire. It's going to be 318 Part 2 and Part 3 when those drop. But I think they're getting closer and closer to figuring this out, so we don't get such major issues every time we have a patch. And I think PES and all that other PES is a foundational step towards that. I'm not white knighting. I'm just stating my opinion, and hopefully it's true, and hopefully it comes to be a reality. So as I said, this is going to be a shorter stream, so we're going to hit one more thing, and then I'm got to go and make all these kids lunch before they start yelling and screaming. And if you guys missed the beginning, I had my daughter Jana on, and she was talking about video games and what she wants to see from video games and what she thinks is cool in video games. So if you guys missed that, definitely check that out. That was the first five-ish minutes of the interview, or of this stream. So this is what I really wanted to hit on. This scares me. Hey, Sunseeker, how you doing, sir? How you doing, sir? This is something that scares me. I am not ashamed to say that I take part in piracy and extortion, and I don't want to see this happen to me or anybody else that takes, or in PvP. I like PvP. I like piracy. I like all that stuff. I just don't want to see this happen to me or anybody else that likes to participate in piracy or PvP. So she did say do way better. Yeah, so we're going to let agents talk about this. This has been an ongoing saga. If you guys, I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with the whole Kara Karen incident that happened about a month and a half ago with Chaos Squad's leader getting on a Carrack that was left open. The gentleman's Carrack that he was on, after they had lifted off and were going into deep space to scrape the hull, he kept spawning in the med bed over and over again, and Chaos Squad kept shooting him over and over again. Proxy comms weren't working. Global chat wasn't working. Neither of them were having a bad time, but they were both doing... Well, I'll let agents explain.
Belligerent, militant, anti-PvP members of the Star Citizen community seized an opportunity to attack PvP gameplay in Star Citizen when this screenshot was posted on Reddit. This resulted in the leader of Chaos Squad, Captain Dirty, getting a warning for excessive griefing from CIG. These people manipulated CIG's customer service and used the Carrack Med Bay event as a weapon against PvP gameplay in Star Citizen by trying to paint the event in a bad light and convince CIG that this PvP event makes the game look bad in the eyes of the wider public. The reason why I believe it's anti-PvP members of the community is because there is obvious proof of two parties fighting each other, even as unfair and uneven as the fight was. Both parties engaged each other as frequently as they could within their capabilities, regardless of how limited they were. And CIG has made a point of declaring their support for PvP gameplay in...
I covered this in a stream a few weeks ago. CIG has said that if there is griefing going on, or if somebody is attacking somebody else with excessive force, you should rally the people on your server, or you should get your org, or you should get your group that you play with to come out there and stick it to them. Give them the big boot. Kick their asses so much that they don't want to come and fight you no more. Now, I understand that there are very small cases of excessive griefing, you know, pad ramming, or you're at Port Alisar and they just basically will not let you take off, or they're chasing you from server to server somehow. I understand that that does happen. Do gurneys count? I mean, I don't really consider that griefing because they can pretty much revive right then and there, and they can go ahead and go grab a gurney and throw it back at you. So I don't think it's griefing. I think it's having a fun time. Somebody might get upset by it, but that's kind of a them problem and not the gurney problem. But I believe that this is how it should be playing out. Not CIG stepping in and going, "Stop doing that. You're griefing." This should be handled by the players. But I think players should, if somebody's attacking somebody with excessive force, meaning, you know, they're bringing, I guess, a Gatling gun to a rock fight, they should be calling on other players to come and fight. I'll give you an example before I let this go. So there was a guy from Liberty Reapers outside Everest Harbor one night. This was after a stream. I was helping a new person out. I had already ended the stream. I didn't record this. He was outside Everest Harbor, and people were coming out and fighting him. And it got to the point where it was a whole bunch of us fighting him. Why? He was a really, really good PvPer. Sorry about that, I got a text. He was a really good PvPer, and he was schooling all of us. So what we did is a bunch of us in Everest Harbor was using proxy comms and global chat saying, "Hey, let's get up there, let's rush him and see if we can't get rid of him." It didn't work out on our favor because he was that good of a pilot, but that's what we did. And it wasn't a griefing thing. All of us were having fun. Yeah, he was smoking most of us within a few seconds, but we were having fun. This guy was out there doing his thing, and we were gathering up 10, 15 people to go out there and try to fight him. It was a ton of fun. You know, some of us gave up and logged off. Others found a way around. But it was a good time, man. It was a good time. And I'm going to let this roll some more.
Side of their game. As you should know from my previous
Yeah, I'll hit you
video
up,
on this
Can Up.
investigation where Dradmar speaks with both myself and Captain Dirty, we established that he was fine with what happened, he was engaged in the gameplay, and that he didn't report this incident to CIG, which led me to looking for new leads by contacting backers who may have potentially reported the Reddit post and the video of the event to CIG. A day after doing so, the backer that I contacted from Reddit responded and said that they had reported the post to CIG's customer service, and when I asked for proof, they provided
This is
a
sickening.
screenshot of the stub for the ticket that they had sent to CIG. I'd also contacted the backer on Spectrum, but I still haven't heard from them. Over the course of 3 days, the backer from Reddit and I spoke about the event. They were polite and forthcoming in answering my questions. I tried my best to remain objective with my questioning and not let my bias get through, which was a lot harder
Yo,
to do
what up,
as I read
Marcus?
more of their responses. This backer
So, well, I'll let agents get into the more dirty details, but this to me is disgusting behavior. You see something on the internet that you don't like, and so you immediately take that to the company and say deal with it. That's disgusting behavior to me. As I said, when we've been involved in now, devil's advocate here, this did happen in the PTU. Global chat wasn't working. Proxy comms wasn't working. He wasn't going to be able to call for help. But in a live server situation, if this was happening, he would have been able to call for help. He would have been able to call for help. And as I said, you know, with that incident that happened at Everest Harbor when I was fighting against a guy from Liberty Reapers, we didn't get pissed at this guy because he was outside shooting people down at Everest Harbor. We collectively got together, a bunch of random people, and attempted to go 10, 15 people deep, go out there and shoot this guy down. Did it work? No, the guy was just that good. But at least we attempted to deal with it within our own means without contacting CIG and saying, this guy's hanging outside of Everest and he needs to be dealt with. Give him a ban. No, we rallied together and we attacked. So that's how we dealt with it. And we had fun with it. Nobody there complained. Not one person. I wish I would have recorded it. Nobody was complaining. Nobody. somebody got shot down, they would immediately go, hey, you know what? I'm going to try to get this ship and I'm going to try to bring him down. I need a gunner. Anybody want a gun? Anybody that just died want a gun for me? Anybody want to be a gunner? And we'd get right back out into the fight. You know, it's pretty cool. I liked it. It was fun. I'm going to let agents continue with the down and dirty details of everything that went on.
I saw the screenshot on Reddit and began reading through the post for the responses from the OP to explain the context of what the screenshot signified. They claimed, based on the inconsistencies of the OP's replies and the screenshot itself, that the owner of the carrack was not having fun and that this was a clear-cut case of targeted griefing, and they took it upon themselves to report the Reddit post to CIG's customer service with the goal of bringing this incident to CIG's attention to investigate it. They claimed they were not aware of the video footage of the incident between Captain Dirty and Dradmar at the time, so when they reported the Reddit post, they supplied CIG with the Reddit post URL and the name of the OP in their ticket to CIG, but no information on Captain Dirty. They told me that they had acted alone and normally only make reports when it's something that they have witnessed firsthand, and they claimed this was the first time they had reported something as a third party. This backer state.
So, in this entire incident, we were calling the carrack owner, Dredmire, Karen. The real Karen is this guy being a bitch ass and thinking that he needs to take it upon himself to report shit like this because Karen, you had no business reporting this. It didn't happen to you. It didn't happen in front of you. I'm sorry, but this gets me a little riled up. This is a bitch ass move by a bitch ass player that doesn't understand that this is a sandbox universe. People are going to shoot at you. That is why you have guns on your ship. For Christ's sake, even a vulture and a prospector have guns on them. If somebody starts fucking around and wants to find out, shoot back. Shoot back. And if you need help, global chat is there. Most of us play in groups. A lot of us are in orgs, you know. Send out a I'm in help. I need help. This guy's fucking around with me. Come help me deal with him. There is a way to deal with it. You don't have to be a third party to a situation that all you had was a screenshot and go, this is excessive griefing. I need to deal with this shit. What kind of mentality is that? What kind of mentality is that? What's up, Pork Chop? How you doing, man? Like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is Karen behavior. This is, as Marcus said earlier, this is pussified player behavior. Our gaming experience is going to get watered down if we have a bunch more people doing this shit. I'm going to let it go now.
Stated that their intent for reporting the Reddit post is because they care about Star Citizen. They like playing the game, and when they saw this Reddit post,
we need to kill people like this.
Someone bragging
in the
about
video
griefing
game,
a
not in
player.
real life.
They
In the
claim
video
to
game.
have been griefed before, back when Port Olisar was a default spawn. You know, the usual story, their ships kept getting destroyed every time they spawned them, and every time they left the station, they got gunned down. They didn't like that experience, and the post made them feel empathetic towards Dradmar. Now, it's clear that this backer has a bias towards how open world PvP should work. This can be seen where they state that they are
Obvious
not okay
bias.
with randomly attacking other players without purpose or communication, and they don't believe that the player being spawned camped bears any responsibility, even when they've respawned in excess of 60 plus times. Also, don't agree with their mindset with how they think PvP gameplay should work.
I'm going to pose this question to chat. I'm going to end this. I'm going to end this poll. And I'm going to start another one. And thank you for all the likes, gentlemen. I appreciate it. You know what? It's too hard to type over there. I'm going to do it over here. I hope that came up. While you guys answer that, I'm going to let this roll.
in Star Citizen, I do appreciate their honesty and being forthcoming with their answers. They didn't have to respond or answer any of my questions. I can also understand and appreciate their desire to make Star Citizen a better game, as it's the same motivation that I have investigating this warning. That all said, I strongly disagree with their assessment, and whilst it's easy to think that they're not at fault for reporting something that they thought was wrong, the fact of the matter is that they didn't know enough about the situation to be making such a report in the first place. And they admit, had they known that Dradmar was okay with what was happening, they wouldn't have reported the Reddit post as evidence of a player being griefed. Based on my experience being a player pirate in Star Citizen for years now, and what CIG has told us about how they prefer players to handle PvP encounters, the footage in Captain Dirty's video informs me that both players were working well within CIG's intent of finding in-game solutions to in-game problems. Dradmar chose to
new
fight
keyboard.
for his ship, all in the pursuit of
I
having
need
a
a new
fun
keyboard.
and engaging experience. He knows he could have left at any time, but he chose to stay. He chose to engage in the gameplay, and Captain Dirty and his crew chose to do the same. He was not a victim of griefing. This was a classic example of two consenting groups of players engaging in PvP gameplay, and whilst it's not communicated verbally or by text, the actions of both parties demonstrate the desire to continue their chosen course of action. Unfortunately,
Hey,
the
Chaos,
Battle
how
for
you
Reddit didn't
doing?
see it that way
It's good
because
to
they
see you
didn't seek
here.
out all the facts.
Yeah,
They
it's
didn't
Captain
stop
Dirty,
them from
guys.
firing
Everybody
off
say
their
hi to
take
Captain
CIG.
Dirty.
And whilst they don't know if more people reported the Reddit post, it's quite clear that there was enough attention generated to get CIG to take notice and act. However, CIG's
And CIG should have never gotten involved. I'm going to go back to what I said earlier and to what we all seem to be agreeing with. Stop texting me. Nobody wanted to talk to me all day yesterday. Now people are texting me. We should not involve CIG. CIG should not involve themselves in PvP type incidents. Thanks, Captain Dirty. CIG should have never been involved. The Reddit Karen should have never have gotten himself involved or herself. They didn't know what was going on. They saw a picture and went, "Oh, this is griefing. This is obvious griefing. I've never seen anything this bad before. Report." This is bullshit. If you're not involved, and CIG should know this too. They can look at this from what I understand. If he wasn't there and he wasn't involved, your report on excessive griefing means nothing. It should mean nothing. Hey, Jay, how you doing, sir? It should mean nothing. They should have no involvement. If you're not involved with it and you make a report on excessive griefing or whatever your problem is with the screenshot that you saw, if you weren't involved, CIG shouldn't even take that report. They shouldn't have even taken the report. And I'll say again, CIG shouldn't have stepped in the way they should have. But this is, I keep saying it, and for those of you that don't agree with my language, this is pussified player behavior. You're scared that somebody's going to shoot at you in your little industrial ship while you're out trying to mind your own business. You are sticking your nose where it doesn't belong. Just stop. It didn't involve you. It didn't involve you. You didn't need to get involved. And you didn't do your due diligence to find out what was going on. So your report means nothing and should mean nothing.
actions are confusing. First, customer service emailed Captain Dirty and only Captain Dirty, even though there were two other players also spawn camping Dradmar.
Look at that handsome man right there.
CIG never tells Captain Dirty which actions that he was taking that
I agree,
constituted
Jay.
excessive griefing.
And I agree,
Captain Dirty had
Cannot.
to reach out and ask if it was about the Carrick Medbay event, which they confirmed, but they still didn't say it was for spawn camping. That is an assumption that everyone, including me, has made. So if Captain Dirty was the only person there worthy of a warning, and it potentially was not for spawn camping, and the video footage demonstrates two players engaging in PvP, then what did he get the warning for? Unfortunately, you're gonna have to wait until the next video to find out what happens as we go deeper in this direction. In the
Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. They should take back that warning. I'm going to be ending the stream here shortly, just so you guys know. I got 6 kids running around the house. I got to do lunch, but I saw this video come up this morning from Agents, and I really wanted to talk to you guys about it. So I put up a poll in chat, and I want to see if you guys answered. Did it not go up? It didn't go up. How about that? I thought I could do it from my PC instead of the laptop, but I want to ask you guys. You guys hit 1 if you agree, 0 if you don't agree. I stand with pirates. Plunder all the booties. Take all the booties. All of them. And if they keep spawning in their bed, shoot their booty. So my question to you guys is there a lack of personal responsibility both in games and in life? That was my poll question. Is there a lack of personal responsibility in games and in life? 1 if you agree, 0 if you don't agree. See a couple of 1s coming up there. Oh, it did pop up? I don't see it on my side, but so there must be a little technical difficulty between my laptop and my PC. And thank you for telling me that, JT. I think that there is such a lack of personal responsibility to the point that it's bled over from video games to, or excuse me, from our personal lives to video games. Video games are supposed to be a place to escape and have fun. And to me, this really kills fun when a third party comes in and gets CIG to send out warnings for proper gameplay. Exactly, Canop, and exactly, Jay. This is, like I said, this is pussified behavior and should not, absolutely should not be allowed. CIG should have never have taken this report. Oh, there's the poll. I see it now. I had to click away and then click back. CIG should not have stepped in on this, and the Reddit Karen should have never have stepped in on this. Not one time. Exactly. Softies, go home. If you take an action, you're responsible for that. My grandma gave me a very important life lesson, and I think it speaks to the situation that we currently find ourselves in, both in life and in video games. I lived with my grandma as an adult for almost 8 years. I had a lot of personal problems, a lot of personal demons, and we're not going to get into that on this stream. But I was living with her from about the age of 18 to about 25-ish. And then again when she got sick. But like I said, that's a whole different stream. I came home one day really upset about something. Like I even punched the front door after I shut it. I don't remember what it was. And we got into talking. And she asked me, "What makes you a man?" And I was like, "Well, turning 21 and making hard decisions makes you a man." And she's like, No, it doesn't. And I said, "Well, yeah, it does, because we have to make the hard decisions when we become an adult." And my grandma said to me, "No, you're wrong. That does not make you a man." And I said, "Well, then what makes you a man, Grandma?" She goes, "Making a hard decision does not make you a man. Living with the consequences of that decision is what makes you a man. Living with the consequences is what makes you a man. Whether they're good or bad, living with the consequences of your decision." And I think that plays into personal responsibility, both in video games and in real life. People are not willing to pay the consequences of their decision. And instead they say, it's this person's fault. It was the car's fault. The government did it. This person did it. The internet made me do it. That's not how this works. If you make a decision, you have to live with the consequence of that decision, whether it's good or bad. So I think we've kind of scrubbed our children in this generation of personal responsibility and consequences of our actions and our decision. Exactly. There is no consequences to being a bitch on the internet. And I'm not saying that we need to have a social score on the internet, but there should be consequences for this, for doing this sort of thing, for reporting. I'm not saying for all Reddit posts and all Facebook posts and Twitter and all of that. There needs to be consequences for that shit, and you need to be canceled. That's not what I'm calling for. What I am saying though is if you were not involved in this incident that happened between Captain Dirty and Dreadmar, I think his name is, if you were not involved in that and you made a report and you got Captain Dirty that warning, you should get a warning as the Reddit Karen for making that report, because that was a false report. They had no idea what was going on. If you were to make that report to the police would have you arrested for falsifying a report. So go eat a bag of dicks. I think that was a bitch move, and I don't like it. I don't like it. This is the fault of the cat I saw 3 years ago. It looked at me the wrong way, and I've never been the same. Pork chop. If I ever get shame, yeah, and that is cheating yourself. Pork chop. If I ever get pirated, I'm going to offer the negotiation of a fist fight. If I lose, the pirate gets 10% of what he demands. If I win, he gets 10% less than what the original demand was. It's actually not a bad idea. I could see a few pirates wanting to do that. I would do that. You know, keyboard warriors are never going to feel ashamed because they can hide behind the internet. They can change their screen name. They can hide behind their monitor and their keyboard. I don't know if it's gonna. I don't think things like this is ever going to get dealt with in the proper way. But I do believe that, I'm not saying it should be a bannable offense. I'm saying that you should get warned and possibly banned later on, after you've been warned several times, of stepping in as a third party and not knowing what's going on. I mean, I've been told that CIG, when you click acknowledge and you signed all those TOSs, that they pretty much are monitoring everything that's going on your computer when you are playing Star Citizen. They should be able to look at that information and determine whether or not you were actually there or involved with it. I'm going to read chat here real quick. That's right. You have to have, I'm not sure if I would call it a strong moral compass or strong character, but you have to have, or honor or respect for yourself in order to feel weak. And if they don't have any of those things, then they're not going to feel that. Yep, 100% cannot. A subculture of users, so there's a subculture of pussies. I don't go on Reddit. You know, I've listened to, I'm going to end this here in the next couple of minutes, but I want to make these couple of points. I was watching one of those, men debate a feminist thing. And the host of the show was a man, and he was talking to this gaggle of women that were all ultra feminists. And he said that one of the ladies was being disrespectful to him before the show even started, attitude, calling him names, etc. And he said, you notice how men don't talk to each other like that? And she kind of tried to write it off, and he said, you know why men don't talk to each other like that? It's because we live under the threat of violence. And she's like, what are you talking about? There's no threat of violence. He goes, no, there is. If men talk to each other like that, they're going to punch each other in the face. There's a threat of violence there. But when a woman does it to a man, there's no, how did he put it? They believe that there's no threat of violence, that the man won't punch them in the mouth for saying the things that they say. There's also a song by Pussifer. I forget the name of it. I'll have to find it one of these days. And it says in the song, one of the lyrics is, the only reason why you talk to people like that is because you haven't been punched in the mouth. And I feel that that's very true. I feel that we've been coddled as a society over the last 20, 30 years into believing that our feelings and what we say has no consequence to it. Look, I'm all for the First Amendment. I believe you should be able to say whatever you want to say, but just because somebody doesn't like what you say doesn't mean you're not going to get punched in the mouth for saying it. There's a consequence. Exactly, son. If you get knocked on your ass in life, you pick yourself up, you dust off the dirt, and you keep moving. You know, you just, as Joe Dirt, Joe Dirt would say, you know, life's a garden. Keep digging. You know, you ain't gonna find the pot of gold if you don't work. And how do you work? You keep digging at life. Sometimes life sucks. Sometimes life throws shit at you that you don't want. Exactly, Mason. Sometimes life is going to throw shit at you that you don't want sticking to your clothes. But guess what? It's going to stick into your clothes. You're going to have to wash it out. And you're going to have to keep moving forward. That's just what we have to do. If you're not willing to move forward, then, you know, I feel sorry for you, man. This is how men and women both get ourselves into the positions that we get ourselves into. We don't keep pushing forward. We stay stuck in the mud where we're at. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Mason. I agree. I can't say that this has been a fun stream. I agree with everything you guys have been putting in chat. I agree wholeheartedly. I really enjoyed the stream, and if you guys did too, go ahead and hit that like button if you want to see more reacts. I don't do much of these. I'm trying to build up my mic confidence and stuff like that. If you guys want to see more of these or some crazy ass content for Star Citizen 318, maybe even some Overwatch here and there, go ahead and hit that sub button, hit that like button. I'm going to be doing my best to push out content as much as I can. We as a channel, I say we because I have a lot of OG people in here and a lot of people that have helped me along the way get to 91 subs. So I thank you to Canop, to Mason, to JT, Marcus, Starlord, Dr. Bailey 88. Without any of those guys, I would not be where I'm at right now. So, you know, you guys are great. All of you guys are great. And to all the new faces I've seen in here and the stop-ins from Mason and Captain Dirty and all you guys, thank you. I appreciate it so much. It's awesome. I love it. I love it. The support's been great. So you guys, if you would like, at the beginning of the stream for the first 5-10 minutes, I had a little interview with my daughter Jaina. I'm one of the few guys I know on the planet that got to name his kid after a Star Wars character from a book, let alone from any kind of movie. So go ahead if you want to see that. Jaina talks about video games and what she wants to see in video games and what video games she likes. So I thought I'd share that with you guys. Until the next one, which might be this afternoon or it might be at the scheduled time at 9:30, there will be another stream today. You guys have a fantastic day, and thank you for stopping in. I really, really appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next stream, and I'll see you guys in the Tooniverse. Peace. Love you guys. Thanks for stopping by.